What are your 5 favourite things to grow in your veggie patch? I know I've got my favourites, and some of them are a little bit different. You may have heard of them, may not have. But these are the ones that I reckon everyone should grow, and they're quite unusual. I wouldn't say rare, but a lot of these you won't find in the supermarket. So my first one is this. I'll turn it around so I can see the better one. This is from Tromboncini, and it's a zucchini type plant. I'm only going to grow 3 or 4 of these because it does give me so much. The fruit itself you can eat young as a green veggie, and it's pretty much like any other zucchini. But my preferred way of consuming these little beauties is to let them grow, and they turn a yellowy brown like a butternut pumpkin. And they also become much firmer and tastier. And I let them grow out to that yellowy brown colour before harvesting them. And they can get a metre and a half long if you hang them up from a trellis. If you don't hang them up, they curl. That's how they got their name, I suppose. They look like a trombone. But another really good thing about these is they grow a very long neck, which is about 50 millimetres, 2 inches in diameter, and there's no seeds in there. So you can just use a veggie peeler, peel them off, slice them up, chuck them in a frying pan and cook them up, or mash them, or do whatever you want to do with it. And they taste very much like a butternut pumpkin. Not exactly the same, but to me that's a much nicer taste than just the plain zucchini you have when you eat them green. The other benefit of letting them go to that light brown colour is they keep for ages. I actually ate one a year after harvest and it was perfectly okay. So they do keep for at least a year. I haven't kept any longer than that, but they do keep for a year if you let them get to that stage. These are extremely prolific, and that is why I'm only growing a few of them, because you get dozens. So that's my first one, Tromboncini. Another really good one to grow in summer is raspberry. This is one that I got just from a cutting off my existing raspberries. Really nice raspberry too. My reason for growing these is purely taste. These are superb. They're nothing like the ones you get in supermarkets which just taste like red coloured water. These are incredibly flavoursome and again prolific. So you get lots and lots of raspberries off them. And if you look at the price of raspberries in the shop, they're expensive. I've got an entire wall of them down here which I'm hoping I'll get a few kilos off this summer. But again, really easy to grow. Get someone to give you a branch. If you're in my area, I'm happy to cut you off a few bits and you can plant them. Stick them in a pot for a year, then plant them out. And that year you should get at least a few raspberries. But an expensive fruit, absolutely magnificent fruit to eat, really easy to grow, but very, very prickly. Another little hint with these, never put them in the ground. They must be in pots because they will just take over everything. So don't do that. But that's number 2. So we have a fruit and a veg now. Number 3 is, and these ones aren't ready to go out just yet, but they are tomatillos. Tomatillos, I believe, are a relation of the tomato, but they grow like a Cape gooseberry. So you get a little paperish lantern over the top of the fruit. And they're quite sour. You probably wouldn't like them raw, but cooked up, just fried like tomatoes, beautiful. Well, I like them anyway. I also make a really, really nice chutney out of this. Well, nice if I do say so myself. I'll thin them out while I'm here. So they make a very, very nice chutney. They're really nice fried, reasonably tart, and not hard to grow. And you can save the seeds. So it's one of those ones that you plant once, save some seeds, keep growing forever. Number 4, we're back to fruit. Actually, I think a tomatillo is a fruit anyway. There you go. Strawberries. Much like the raspberries, I grow these for the taste. I really like strawberries. I try to eat lots and lots of fruit if I can. And strawberries are just a nice fruit to grow. The reason it's made my list is it is so easy to propagate. This is from the community gardens, and it's just from a runner, stuck in a pot, left for a while, and growing. Most of my other strawberries I've grown the same way. I did buy some supermarket runners, failed dismally. They didn't grow at all. Probably sitting out too long. So don't let those supermarket ones or hardware store ones bother you. Find someone with strawberries and nick some of their runners. Ask them politely first, of course. Aligned to that, there's also pine berries. I've grown 3 or 4 separate plants now, all from the one that I originally started with. They're a close relation to strawberries, except they have a red and white berry. I think they taste a little bit different. I believe they taste a bit different, and you need strawberries to cross-fertilise with them. So that's a little aside, but that's another one that I would definitely be putting in the spring. Finally, we get to something fairly ordinary, except it's not. And that is tomatoes. Every home gardener tries to grow tomatoes. I try to grow tomatoes, succeed some years, fail other years. The nematodes get them, or caterpillars get them, or some other disease kills them off. But one thing I've found in our climate, and I think this is probably similar to people in Queensland and the other subtropic zones, is that the cherry tomatoes grow easier than the large tomatoes. I find the large tomatoes either get caterpillars in them, or the plant dies before the fruit's fully matured. We get another heat wave of 100 and something degrees Fahrenheit, 45 degrees Celsius for a week in a row, and everything dies. But the cherry tomatoes seem to just kick on and survive. So I recommend, and I do grow, cherry tomatoes in preference to the larger tomatoes. Sure, they're not easy to slice up for a sandwich, but chop them in half and throw them in a lump of bread. They work, but they are very tasty. And pick the heirloom varieties. I'm growing Tommy Toe this year. I have done black cherry and a few others in previous years, and they're all good. But just try a few different varieties, see how you go. Fruit fly, I don't seem to get them as much, and they just seem hardier. I don't know why, but they just do. So there's my 5 key plants to have out in the veggie patch, particularly in a hot, dry climate like I've got here. So that's a little bit of the stuff that I like to grow over that time period. Let me know what you grow. Be interested to find out. Comments. So please like, subscribe, see how these things turn out. Get to watch the recipe on tomatillo chutney. See how I get on with my raspberry harvest. Enjoy life. I shall catch you in the garden.